Hey everyone, I'm back, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different, and it's pretty much the story of how this channel came to be. And I decided to do this because 5 years ago today, I uploaded my review for Blair Witch, directed by Adam Wingard, and I decided that now's a good a time as ever to do this, so I decided now's the time. So I think I'll just start off by talking about my history with watching movies. When I was very, very young, I think the first movie I watched in theaters was Finding Nemo, and I always loved that movie. And then eventually I went and discovered movies like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2. I got to watch Terminator 1, 2, and 3. And I was a huge Terminator fan back then, and I was just always... And I used to be really connected to the Terminator universe, and I really... Even when I was younger, I really loved the show Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles. I haven't seen that show since it came out, but... And I don't think I've seen every episode of it, but back then I enjoyed it, and other shows that I watched, like not adult shows, but like entertainment that I really enjoyed watching. Anime stuff that I kind of liked. I've seen a couple episodes of Pokemon, but I never really got into it. I really loved Yu-Gi-Oh! That game was just so much fun to me. and I would just watch the show just to understand how the card effects would be used in certain scenarios. And that's pretty much the only reason I watched the show, as it got progressively more complicated as they introduced new cards and stuff. If you're not a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but to keep it simple, as time went on, they introduced new rules, and I was still with it for quite a long time, and at a certain point, I decided I'm done. I don't feel a need to continue going with it, because it's so complicated to the point where it's like trying to figure out how time travel works. It's just so ridiculous, and it's probably gotten a lot worse at this point, but I haven't been keeping up. But in terms of what the entertainment industry was giving out, those were like the main things that I really loved, and I'm sure there's like some other stuff that I just don't remember right now, but in terms of when I was just a little kid, that was it. Those were like the only movies I really watched. I also watched a lot of stuff with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I found the movies he was in to be like a lot of fun, and those were mostly like James Cameron stuff, like the first two Terminators, obviously. I really loved True Lies, and I really liked Predator and Commando. That was it. I would watch those movies all the time, and they were just so much fun to me. There was a point in my life where I kind of stopped watching those movies and TV shows, and I moved on to just focusing on schoolwork. But there was one movie that really got me back into superhero movies and whatnot. Iron Man. I really loved Iron Man, and I would watch that movie a lot. And I think I also watched The Incredible Hulk quite a bit. And I enjoyed the other MCU movies leading up to The Avengers. And they were like on TV all the time, and I would just watch them and enjoy them. And eventually The Avengers came out, and I really loved that movie. I had a great time watching it. It was like the biggest movie ever at the time for me. And then 2013 came around, and I watched more superhero movies and some other stuff that I'm sure I'm forgetting. But for most of my life, it was just superhero movies. And when I watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier, I fell in love with that movie, and I just wanted to see where this universe was going at a certain point in my life. And I like really loved it. And then I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, then Age of Ultron, then I watched Ant-Man at one point. And I've seen all the Marvel movies, but it wasn't until Blair Witch that I started to watch movies that were not superhero movies. It took me a long time to kind of break from that trend to just like only watching superhero movies, like action adventure movies. and stuff like that. I also watch horror movies. I've seen Alien a few times when I was younger. The first time I watched it, I was scared out of my mind. Just the face hugger that was like really scary to me. I've also seen Jaws and Indiana Jones. And Jaws, the first time I watched it, I was absolutely terrified of it. And whenever I went to sleep, I would always have like my legs as close to my body as possible because the shark would always get to your legs first. And my logic was that the closer my legs are to my body, then the less likely the shark will come up and get me. His chances of getting me by the legs are lower. That was just my logic at the time. And I watched other blockbuster movies, and eventually it led up to me wanting to watch Blair Witch. And as far as my history of movies goes, I think you know where it went from there. According to my channel, then I just started to watch movie after movie after movie and continue watching movies. And I really enjoyed it, and I figured this is what I want to do, which kind of leads me into a bit more into my personal life as to why I decided to do what I decided to do. Now, before I get into anything else, I think I mentioned this once on my channel before, and that is I have autism, which I think many of you know what that is, so I'm not going to go into it, and the reason I told you that is because things will probably make more sense as I go along with my own personal life and its story. And I was very much a very introverted person when I was younger, from 7th grade all the way up until my freshman year of college. I was or my senior year of high school, sorry. And I didn't really talk much. I never got into any trouble really, and I just kept my mouth shut and just went along with everything. And people thought I was a really nice person, and I heard that a lot. No one really talked to me, but I never met a person which I didn't get along with. And going up to my last few years of high school, or maybe it was my senior year of high school. I don't remember when it was the exact moment. But when I was in my senior year of high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And at that point in my life, I've been watching YouTube. But before 7th grade, I had no idea what YouTube was. I wasn't introduced to it. And it wasn't until 7th grade where I got an iPad where I got to watch YouTube, and I mostly used it to watch anything Yu-Gi-Oh related because that was my go-to, and I also really loved the card game throughout my entire life. And I would never tell anyone that I was doing that. I was also kind of hiding it because I just felt embarrassed that everyone's watching things that are more mature, and I was just watching a show for kids. And it wasn't until around 2014 where I was watching people's favorite movies of 2014 that I really started to get interested in movie reviews on YouTube. And that was 4 years after I got my iPad 1, and I just at the time I just wanted to see if Captain America: The Winter Soldier made their lists. And the first film review channel that I came across was Jeremy John's, and I used to watch a lot of his videos, and I thought they were really good and entertaining and fun, and I went through all of his videos, and I really liked watching his videos. And that for me was the first time I ever stepped out of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mostly watched when I say Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content, I'm not talking about the show. I'm also talking about what they call themselves. I think they call themselves Yugi-tubers or something. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube, get it. And what they would do is just open packs. They were basically just reaction videos to them opening up booster boxes of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. them reacting to like really expensive cards that they pulled, and that was pretty much the only things that I cared to watch at the time. But watching Jeremy Johns eventually led me to Chris Stuckman, and I watched his videos and I really enjoyed his stuff. And then I discovered the Flick Pick, and I actually don't remember who I discovered next. I think at some point I discovered Ralph the Movie Maker, and then Your Movie Sucks, and actually I don't remember when I first discovered I Hate Everything. I think it was his Force Awakens video that he did. And then for quite a long time I've been just watching film review stuff, and I really enjoyed it, and that was kind of a sub thing for me that I wanted to do. But going back to high school in my senior year, there was a point where I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I took a class, accounting, and that was a class that I really liked, and I thought to myself, you know what, I could do this. This seems like something that I could do. And eventually I graduated from high school, and I went into do accounting, and college was like much harder than I expected, and things were just going wrong, and I wasn't doing very well, and I just didn't feel great, to be perfectly honest, and I kind of went into a bit of a dark place at that time. And eventually I stopped going to the college that I originally went to, and the reason why I dropped out of that college was because my sister asked if I wanted to go to Michigan and then build my life from there, and also live in Michigan. And so I decided to go do that, and I took an accounting class, and it was going all right at first, but eventually I just couldn't keep up, and I was doing worse and worse as time went on, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. And that's kind of when I decided that maybe being an accountant isn't for me. And I decided, you know what, I think I'll just do YouTube. And I've and for a while I was doing YouTube videos. I don't know if I would say consistently, but at least one video a week or a couple videos a week. I don't remember how often I went to the theater, but I went to the theater quite a lot. And I used to, and sometimes I would watch a movie multiple times in theaters. And I watched the big ones that stand out in my mind at this moment, at least. The first one was Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I watched that 3 times in theaters. And I've seen Blade Runner 2049 4 times in theaters, because it was my favorite movie of that year. And I've seen a bunch of other stuff multiple times in theaters I'm just not remembering right now. But point is, there was a point in time where I was watching a lot of stuff in theaters, and I really loved making movie reviews on YouTube, and it was like, and I thought this is something that I could do. And 2018 came along, and things were going good for like the first month, and then February came along. Things kind of went out of control, and I was having seizures, as many of you may know, and I decided to move back out of Michigan and over to Washington, and I've been here ever since. And I, in case everyone's wondering, I haven't had a seizure in like 3 years. And for a while, I was kind of pretty discouraged from making videos, mainly because it was just like the internet out here isn't great. It would take forever to get one video uploaded, and back in Michigan, my internet speed was great. I could upload a video in like less than 10 minutes and be done. Over here, it's much slower. I have to wait like 3 to 5 hours for like one video, and that was very discouraging for myself. And I just stopped being fully committed to YouTube for a while, and it hasn't been recently where I decided to, you know what, I'm going to upload videos daily now, so I can at least put in effort and show that I want this to happen. So that's kind of what's going on, and that's pretty much the story of my life. So there's the story of how the channel came to be. I hope you all enjoyed it, and it's been a fun 5 years since I first started this channel, even if some things didn't go perfectly well, but I hope you enjoyed it at the very least. For October, in a couple weeks, I am planning to do nothing but horror movies, and for my next video, I don't know what that's going to be. I'll have to look around to see for like things that I've either haven't seen before or like just sitting around just collecting dust that I have yet to review that I've already seen. And we'll see what happens. And also one other thing, I was considering doing a DVD collection video, but I got a lot and I haven't really organized them all alphabetically, and I have a lot. And I would much prefer it to be in alphabetical order when I do that, even if that's going to take quite a bit of time to do. But I would like to do it one day. But until I get all of those up, I would like to thank each and every one of you for sticking with me throughout all of these years, even if I haven't been consistently uploading videos. I would very much like to apologize for that. It's my fault. I'll try to make it up to you guys by uploading consistently from this point on. My social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up. But until then, thank you for watching and have a great day.